Yo, major shout out for the homie Blake, man, an Unfiltered Bachelor podcast. That's what's up, man. Money Blake Weather. If you could just tell people that you love the show, I'm going to tell people right now that you fucking awesome, man. What's up, bro? It's Gator.
And what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Blake, Money Blake Weather. Welcome to another episode, Unfiltered Bachelor. This is the Lil Dicky Dave segment, and I am here as always with my host, Jeff.
What's up, everybody?
Jeff, how you doing, man?
I'm fine. How about you?
Bro, I'm surviving the Rona, bro.
Oh, fucking Rona. Thank God we have this show at this time.
Bro, we're surviving. We're making the show work. Obviously, Jeff's not in-house as always because the Rona and a lot of cities on lockdown. But we're still making this episode. We're still making this segment do what it do.
So that's one of those things. I don't know if other cities are different, but right now Austin is actual lockdown, staying home lockdown. You get caught out without a good reason, it's $1,000 fine and 6 months in jail. And by the way, listen to that and stay home, idiots.
Right. For sure that.
All the fucking pictures I'm seeing of idiots outside.
Yeah, man. Everybody's like at like, dude, Town Lake's supposed to be like popping. Barton Creek's supposed to be popping.
Barton Springs. Yep.
Yeah, bro. They're all popping. But you know what we're doing? We're staying safe. We are not adding to Darwinism, or we are making Darwinism. We're the survivalists or whatever the people call it.
We're not going to be winning any Darwin awards.
Right. On that note, man, unpacking episode 5, Hype Man, bro. This episode right here, bro.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
There's no question. It's the best one yet.
Bro, every fucking one is the best one ever. Every time we do this, we're always like, this is the best one ever. No, this is the best one ever.
I don't know, dude. I don't see another one getting better than this. This is so
I don't
good.
know how you fucking make one better than this, dude. I almost cried during this episode.
Dude, ditto.
I literally fucking teared up, bro.
Right? So Hype Man, obviously, it's mostly focused on Gator this episode. Speaking of which, Blake, you got some Gator news.
I mean,
you want to talk about it?
I mean, obviously, Gator dropped a little. We dropped the little intro, the Gator intro. He is aware that the podcast is going on.
Oh,
Shouting out the podcast. I don't. This doesn't get more fucking real than that, dude. Like, when you realize somebody from the TV show that you are breaking down is aware that your brand is up, that your segment is talking about a TV show he's on.
Not just someone from the show, but probably my favorite character from the show, even before this episode.
Yeah, one of the best co-stars from the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, dude, what in the fuck? And
when you sent me that video, I was like, fuck you. No fucking way.
So, yeah, hey, we're kind of a big deal now.
I'm not even mad. I'm just impressed.
in English, Baxter. You know how to speak Spanish.
So
this episode, man, we had a predictions from the last one, and I know you talked about like it was going to be something for sure with Gator, maybe like backstory or something like that. And I thought like he was going to do some Hype Man shit. And I think it was definitely somewhere.
It kind of does.
Yeah, it was somewhere in the middle, right? It was somewhere in the middle. It does go slightly into his backstory. The whole episode's not about his backstory, but it goes into it a bit. And he does do some Hype Man shit a bit, a lot throughout the episode. And there's so many bits just starting off in starting off in the opening. He's hyping Dave up to buy this jacket, the fucking Versace Medusa jacket. That's how it fucking starts off.
Which Dave says it perfectly. He looks like the back of a playing card.
And then
he does.
And then
so first Gator's hyping Dave up to Dave. because Dave's like, oh, I look stupid. He says,
you drippy, my guy.
I look like a fuckboy.
He's like, I don't know what a
fuckboys look like.
Yeah, I don't know what fuckboys look like, but I think I look like I look like one of them. I look like a fuckboy.
Yeah, this is what people are talking about when they're talking about fuckboys. But Gabe's like, no, man, you're looking good. You're looking good.
You're looking drippy. You look so drippy, my dude.
Yeah, drippy. That's what it was.
And then he not only convinces Dave, bro. He starts like Hype Man is a whole episode where every time you see fucking Gator, bro, his job, like he's doing it in and out of the stage, right? Like he's hyping him up. He's hyping Dave up to himself. He's hyping Dave up to people around him. First of all, the three kind of guys in blue, right? The dudes in blue,
which we find out are Crips.
Right? Hey, go figure, right? Like, go figure. They're all blued up, and he's like, you don't know who this dude is. Like, you need to get to know this dude. Like, my dude's opened up for Meek Mills. And like, for real? And he's like, yeah, come out to the show. And he's like, where's the show? He's like,
I have no idea who Meek Mill is.
Oh, Meek Mill's is a rapper, dude. I think he's with Young Money or something like that.
Whatever.
But I like how he says, he's like,
just turns to them.
Yeah.
He's like, how fucking kick ass is this jacket?
Yeah, and
the
guy,
they're like, what?
Yeah.
And then he just goes, oh, you don't even know who this is, do you?
It's
like, man, Lil Dicky. He's the rapper. He's got that song, yo, my dick sucks.
My dick sucks, yeah.
You're the rapper, man.
And I love how he's like, you should come out to the show. And they're like, where's the show? He's like, Philadelphia. He's like, how the fuck you expect me to get out to Philadelphia? And he's like, well, I think he meant to, like,
I think it was like a metaphoric come out, like live stream it.
I
don't think he wanted you to come,
like, ejaculate.
Not like an ejaculation, by the way.
The little one-liners, bro. This show is like so much about that.
Still a ton of throwaways, man.
And so, I mean, and like this is the like the premise of the show is this very first scene, right? Like, it's all about this, all about how like Gaeta is just, he hypes Dave in his everyday life he hypes Dave. You know what I mean?
Whatever, even when Dave doesn't know he needs to be built up, Gaeta's building him up. Gaeta's just always there. And the thing is, at this point, he's just doing it because he's a good friend.
Right.
Which is probably one of the things I like the most.
Yeah, he's just doing it because, like, he believes in Dicky. He's with that energy, bro.
Right.
And, now dissecting the scene is hilarious because this is the first time you realize, like, Dave is he wants to be a rapper. He wants to do all these things. There are some cultural things he needs to be made aware of.
Very much so. And I mean, like, it even starts with Dave going, like, so how should I talk on stage? When I'm on stage, should I talk, like, with my rap voice, like my Lil Dicky voice? Or, like, should I talk my normal voice, like my Dave voice? So, like, for Dave, it's still, these are two very different people. And even that part he's trying to figure out. But then I think I know the part you're talking about.
Yeah, it's so they take
when they're going to take the picture.
They take the picture, and Dave's like, I appreciate you throwing up the Lil Dicky sign. They're like, nah, they ain't no shit like that. Yeah, he's like, that's some gang shit, man. He's like, gang shit. He's like, that's some crib shit, bro. And he's like, what? What? And then Dave being, just so like, what the fuck? Neurotic. Yeah, he's just like, he starts like going down this. Well, maybe we should retake the picture, and like, what if
culturally appropriating?
What if Bloods are seeing this? Like, what do I need to do? And he's just like, man, I think you good, bro. And I love when they walk away. He's like,
what if Blood say that?
Yeah. He's like, silly little white boy.
But, you know what that also made me think of? When he was like, when Dickie's like, what if Blood see this? Are they going to be okay? If a group of Blood see this picture, are they going to be okay with me? Which, fucking Dickie. The other thing that I thought of was, I thought of Freaking Friday.
Yes, I exactly thought of that.
Yeah, I'm a blood, but I can finally wear blue.
Yes, like Lil Dicky loves blue. I think he just loves the color blue. And I'm going to get into that. Totally. I think I'm going to get into that because in this episode, and I want to go back through all the rest of the episodes, but he goes from wearing peach to blue a lot.
the Medusa jacket, while he's wearing blue underneath, the Medusa jacket, it's a light orange color, but it's still closer to peach than it's not, you know?
Right. And he's wearing blue underneath it. He's wearing blue. Like in the scenes he's not wearing peach, he's wearing blue in this episode. And
he definitely goes back and forth between the two.
Yeah, and so
I think that was a really good call on his part.
Yeah, and I think that there's some sort of, I need to figure it out, but I think and this is just to me, and I could be looking into things, but there is like a transition of when he wears peach, he feels this way, and when he wears blue, he feels this way. Like maybe when he wears peach, he's Lil Dicky, and when he wears blue, he's more Dave. You know what I mean? I think
it's the other way around.
It could be.
He's Dave, and I think now that he's become more confident, that blue is Dicky.
Interesting. Okay. It could go that. Yeah.
I also remember peach is a bit of a softer color, whereas a blue is a more vibrant, solid color. If that makes sense.
Yeah. It absolutely makes sense. And he was, after all, picking out the outfit that he wanted to wear when he was going to rap, and he was wearing blue underneath the Versace Medusa jacket. But anyways, and I love how he asks. He goes back to his hype man, right? And he's like, he throws up the Lil Dicky sign. He's like, throw up the Crip sign for me. And he throws up the C, and he's like, so every time I'm throwing up Dicky, I'm throwing up Crip. And I like how I like how Gator says, he's like, you not, my man, but low key you are though.
Like, no, man, you're absolutely cool. It's all fine, but like seriously, you are doing that.
But low key, you're not though. Dave's like, fuck, and then like, hi, I'm Dave. And that's how this episode starts off.
The opening scene. Did you catch the callback?
To what? On what?
When they're getting ready to take the picture, Dave goes, so do you want, like, should I smile? Are we doing a straight face? Or and the other guy goes, no, just take the picture.
Yeah. Again, goes back to that.
3 times now?
Right. Yeah. It was callback to the first episode. And there's a few callbacks to the first episode in this one, right? Like, not to break the cipher just yet, but there's some callbacks to the first episode. So we get through that.
Then it goes to the Dave title. And then it starts at a concert.
It starts at the concert.
Made in Tokyo concert.
And you know the crazy thing was, so we go from a contrast of Dave being in blue to, and I want to rewatch some film, but he's in red and he feels uncomfortable. He's in
that game footage.
Right. I want to replay the footage. But he's in, the lighting is red. The artist is wearing red. Everything's red around him, and he almost feels uncomfortable. Right. So the color schemes in this, I think, are starting to be, at least for me, a lot more vivid and a lot more real about what the color means to the character. Does that make any sense?
Dave, as an artist, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
He puts so much thought into everything he does. I couldn't see him not thinking of something like that, you know?
And I don't know if you noticed that, but I did notice the lighting was red. The artist was wearing red. Like, I was just like, whoa, there's a lot of red going on around him. But he's not wearing red. He's still wearing, like, he's got his little blue, and he's got a jacket on, and he's got his blue shirt on, and he's just kind of like out of his, he completely feels out of his element. Even though he's at a rap concert.
Which is funny, because, like, and by the way, that's the thing, like, he's, like, so Allie goes, like, hey, Dave, like, have some fun. He goes, no, I'm having fun. I'm not going to put my hands in the air.
I'm here for research.
That's the question I have. Like, is that a real thing?
What's that?
Like, do rappers go to other rappers' shows for research, or is that just a Dave narrative?
No, it's a real thing. Like, bands will go to the bands to see what bands are doing.
I really like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like...
that's just something I never knew.
Directors will watch other movies from other directors to see what directors are doing. You know what I mean?
And, that makes so much sense to me, but I guess I never thought of it in the sense of the music world.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's definitely a real thing, and I like, they introduce a lot of real world elements that I hadn't put together and until I talked to a friend of mine, she's in a band and she watches Dicky, and she's just like, the fourth episode, right, where like he gets his manager, the manager has, believes in him and tries to make up all these game plans. Or like, you need somebody like that to keep you on track. Like maybe he's got a few things wrong and he's trying to approach Dicky a little wrong, but like he overall has the right like sort of mindset. Like if you're not going to do shit, at least do something viral. If you're not doing that, like we got to keep working. We got to keep you on track. And it's just true. Like you having to go out and research and do it. Sometimes, it ain't like now where everybody's doing Facebook Live and Instagram shows. Like you got to go out there hey, back in the day, when times were good, you know what I mean? Like, and you could still go out there and see somebody. I think now more than ever, there's a nostalgic factor of like, damn, remember when you could go see a concert?
Well, what's the movie? Get Him to the Greek. So it's like Get Him to the Greek, I think, is actually a really good representation of that, because even though that's a bit older now, that was still very much in the days of people being found on YouTube and being found on Facebook and shit. But their whole thing was, if you remember, the main character works for a record label, and his boss is like, get back in the fucking clubs and fucking find someone. Don't just be sitting here looking at this stupid shit. No, go out there and do the fucking work. You know?
Right. Go out there, do the work, put it in. And I mean, like, I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't know the youngins know this, but like the pre-internet world, that was literally you got discovered by playing these shitty dive bars, and just randomly there was a music exec one night who heard you and thought you were good enough.
Or somebody through word of mouth, right? That's what it is. So Dicky's out there, and there's a lot of things that happen on the walk back to like when they're trying to leave. Like, first of all, he wants to leave early. Like the show ends and he's like, I like how he's like, dude, that looks really risky. The guy gets on the rafter, like kind of a little sidebar,
climbing the light structure, and Dave just goes, that's so risky. I would never put my life in jeopardy like that.
And they're like, I thought that was the best part of the show.
And it's Allie who says that too. So I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
all right.
Fuck. But
yeah, so they're first off, I don't know why they throw this in there, but Mike just goes, guys, I'm so sorry. The Uber's actually this way. That's my bad. I'm so sorry.
When they're walking the opposite way. Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen, right? So as Dave's walking, he gets approached by somebody's like, hey, you're the somebody suck me guy. And he's like, yeah, I'm also a rapper too. And it reminds me of that scene at beginning of Freaky Friday. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're a rapper? Oh, but I just thought like
a joke, right?
Yeah, I thought you just did I thought you were just a parody. And he goes, of what? And he's like, of life?
I don't know. Well, I like what he says before that too. He goes, I thought you were a meme. And Dave goes, nope, I'm a real person.
I'm a real person. And he's like, no, like I thought you were like a parody.
And Dave's just like, all right, yep, well, I appreciate you, but bye.
And he's like, that's right, somebody suck me.
Hey. Yep. There's that. You can tell Dave fucking hates it.
So, and then...
But did you also catch the Gator part with that interaction?
Yeah, so the guy tries to come, he's like, you guys hanging out later? And Gator's like, nah, man, we good. And he's like, all right, man.
And just shut up. Yeah, all
right, man, see you later.
Yeah, man, Gator's
on point at all pars. He's on point, bro.
Absolutely. But so then they start walking the opposite direction, get to the real Uber. And Dave's just freaking out.
Well, this conversation that happens, and here's a real bit that I low-key caught, was when they're talking and Dave gets mad because he's like, one week I'm the, my dick sucks guy. And then the next week I'm, somebody suck me guy. And he's like, people don't really know who I am. And he's like, and Mike is like, that's, my bad on the marketing. We can always fix this. We just have to do a video.
It's just a branding issue.
Yeah, it's just a branding issue. We can always fix this. I love what he says, because he goes, we control the narrative. And that's what...
Which is so true.
Yes, it's so fucking true, man. We control the narrative. And he starts introducing the idea. He's like, what we need to do is before your show, we just need to make a video where you tell people who you are real quick and introduce yourself. That way people know who you are, not this whole thing of like who they've seen, prior. So that's an important concept because we return, like that's a return thing. That's something we come back to later on. You know what I mean?
And it's a really, really big part of what we come back to. And you know better than I would, because I think I've been to 2 rap shows in my life. But is that also something that people do in a rap show? Like, I know that they'll play videos like during, but will they introduce themselves with like, "Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is my music, and this is what I do, and enjoy," and then they walk on stage?
I've never seen it, but I'd love to see it. How about that? I've never seen it, but I'd love to see it. If somebody did that, they would be.
I'd have to see it to know.
They'd be separating themselves from what the hell is out there. You know what I mean?
Very true. That's very true. And that'd be interesting to see.
And that's what Dave is all about. Dave is about separating himself. Like he's so neurotic about separating himself from what everybody else is doing.
Which is so funny because he also so badly wants to be seen as a real rapper, but he wants to be his own rapper.
Right. Right. It does. It do be making sense.
But so then Mike goes like, we just do the video, whatever, and Dave's still just kind of like, man, I just don't know. And Gage just goes, yeah, man, it's simple. Here's what you do. And he pulls out his phone and he just puts on Dave's song, My Dick Sucks. He just starts dancing to it, man, and he's really getting into it. He's
doing like the ad lib portions, like half the line and letting it play, and just like Dave's like, bro,
you. Hey girl, what I'm gonna say, girl, and like he gets right into it. And here's the big thing for me: everyone that was standing there with him was dancing.
Yeah, they were all feeling it. Like they were feeling it. They were
all like, Emma, she was getting it. She was getting into it. Mike was even, bobbing his head and stuff. Like they felt it, man.
And
it was real for them.
So much so that he's like, I want you to be my hype man.
Which Mike is immediately like, no.
Dave's like, this is a dictatorship. I'm sorry.
I love that line. I'm sorry. This is a dictatorship. I'm sorry. It's going to happen. But I also love the girls immediately are on board.
Right.
Emma and Allie are both like, fuck yeah. Now, for different reasons, Allie loves it because she loves Gata. Emma says, yeah, I think taking as much dancing off your plate is the best.
Yeah. Which is true. Which is true. Don't let Dicky dance or do anything.
No.
Move too much. And then it fast forwards, and then so we get a nice little flashback of Gata being 2016 being part of OG Genesis camp.
Yep. He's on a bus and he's like kind of hanging out. And at first he's kind of like holding court, He's talking to everyone. Everyone's feeling him. And then he goes to the back of the bus because, as he says, I got that access,
Right. And he just starts, really, the point of this is just like you see him and he's just got a lot of energy. Like I remember watching this, I'm like, my man's just got a lot of energy, and he's not turning it off.
Well, the first thing I thought though, because the second he gets back there, Nutty is really cool with him, and like Nutty actually seems happy to see him,
Nutty's his boy,
and
as much as he can be.
That was really, really important for me. Absolutely,
because to rewind. So let's pause. We're going to time out. We were introduced to Nutty when he met Lil Dicky in the very first episode, because Nutty is the contact point between YG. Nutty is the guy
YG's that Korean rapper, right?
Yeah, YG. Or is it YG with a question mark like YG?
We're not being racist. Go watch the first episode.
But so Nutty's the point of contact. Nutty's the guy that gets the money. Nutty is the guy. Nutty is the manager. Nutty is, at this point, for what we know, the manager of YG. And
that's how I felt.
Yeah, and so
and at this point he's the manager of Pac-Man, right?
Yeah, Pac-Man and OG Genesis. And and so we're introduced to him in that asset and that facet, I should say. And he he's Gate. Like Gate is his boy and brought on by him, and Gate just has like for my money, like just a lot of energy, and it's not bad. It's just when you're done with this, when you're done with the show, when you're trying to just like chill and still like trying to get her groove back, it might just it might just be a bit too much. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and at this point, I'm thinking that he's on coke or something. Because it was that type of energy. It was just
a lot.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, if he had stayed at the front of the bus, it would have been fine. Because up there, they were feeling it. They were all just having the time of their fucking life. These were all the people that they didn't participate in the show. These were clearly people just kind of hanging out, having a good time afterwards. And it's like, all right, if you stayed there, I don't think you would have run into trouble.
Right. But, around the artists, I think for them, again, when you're done with the show, like I've been around artists after a show, man, and sometimes they just want a chance to breathe, bro. They're
totally.
on. And they just want a time to breathe, huh?
And they flat out say that. They're like, dude, just, come on, just chill out. We're good. Because the thing is, he's not just like having all this energy and being over the top like an asshole. He's actually talking about like business stuff and like pushing them forward and stuff. But they're just not. So it's not like it's irrelevant. It's just they're not feeling it right now.
Yeah, it's not. It's a wrong time. Wrong time for all this, man.
Yeah.
Wrong time.
And they look right at Nutty and they're like, "Yo, bro, your boy's gotta go."
Yeah, get your boy. So he moves to the front. Nutty follows him, and Nutty's just kind of like, "Hey, man, you gotta go, man." And so that's when you start to see like you're like, there's something like, for me when I watched it, I was just like, damn, like they kicked him off, but I'm like, there's something just kind of not right. Like I wonder what they're gonna introduce. What's the problematic thing with Gaeta? Like what's problematic about him? I don't know it. I know there's something going on, and again, I don't want to give away like everything, but like right now, as far as I'm watching this, like I'm rewinding my headspace where I was when I watched this, and I was just like, there's something just kind of going on, like something's not right. I don't know what it is. Is it drugs? Is it alcohol? Is it maybe he's got ADHD? Maybe he's just got a lot of energy. I don't really know.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of ADHD, man.
Yeah, it could be. So all these things. So this is what's going on through your mind as you're watching this. So. Fast forward to we get to.
Well, real quick, one thing that I caught was when he's pushing Gator towards the front and stuff. Because like when he's like kicking Gator off the bus, I'm like I can understand kicking Gator off the bus for the night or whatever, but like the way it's set up, it kind of feels like, oh, this is when Gator and Nutty, completely parted ways. I was like, really, like this one instance, like they're totally kicking him out for good. Like that seems weird.
They show. I think this one instance that they showed was the kind of the camel breaking the straw that broke the camel's back type instance.
That's the thing. I thought that until when Nutty's pushing Gator off the bus. And when I say push, I don't mean like he's throwing him or anything. He's just like leaving him off the bus. But Gator said, you hear Gator say, "Come on, just let me get one more chance, bro." And so that led me to believe, like, oh, okay, so this isn't something new. This has been happening for a while.
Yes, yeah, it's been happening. Whether they've approached him or not, it's definitely been like they're like, God damn it, I'm fed up with this.
It's clearly an issue. It's not like a one-time thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we fast forward to that, and after that is
we go to commercial break, and then we go to.
This is the scene, right, where, as far as I remember, where Dicky's talking to Emma, right?
Yes. And it literally starts with her pulling up this terrible logo. And it is creepy as shit.
Because it's like LDs, but it's like the L and the D are like, they're not spelled out with like lines as like alphabetical like lines that you would use. Like the L and the D, like the L is like they're all like, imagine a picture of somebody and then it's in a line. It's in an L. And then there's a picture, multiple pictures like formulated to like the shape of an L, multiple pictures in the form of a D. It's the same picture, just over and over.
No. They're different pictures.
Oh, okay.
So like, because there's some from his childhood, And there's some of him now. There's like some of his like torso up and some of just his face. But like as Emma's saying, she goes like, yeah. So I took all the primary colors that you really like, and I made those the background, and then I just took a bunch of your pictures from social media and made them into a logo. And it is the creepiest fucking thing, dude.
I mean, I wasn't mad at it.
It is so goddamn.
I wasn't mad.
I thought it was so creeptastic.
I wasn't mad at it. I'll be honest. But because it's
Dude,
weird.
The funny thing to me.
It's weird because it's LD.
Oh yeah. Well, the funny thing to me is, if she had made it with like a normal font or a cool font, I think it would look great. Literally, it's human heads cobbled together.
In the shape of an L, and then in the shape of a D.
Oh my god, it was so fun. And she was like, and I love Dave goes, so, like, don't get me wrong, I think this is funny, but I just feel like you're making me look lame. And my favorite part, Emma goes, making you look lame? She just keeps slamming on Dave, and I think it's funny every time, dude.
Dude, for real. Yeah, it's fucking, yeah. And so this, I mean, this is kind of like and she did offer her services, so like, rewind a little bit, she did offer her services. She's like, hey, if you need a graphics design, I'm your girl. And I love how he hugs her and she's like, please don't touch me.
Well, I also like, because, so, first off, we get one of the previews from the commercials in this, and one that I thought was fucking hilarious.
Oh, where he's like, talking, where he's like
so,
I want there to be like the line was something, it's something the equivalent to like, I want it to be like futuristic, like I'm in like 2090.
Imagine like what 2090 is
would look like, but
being described to you from someone from
1920. She's like, oh, like this, and she literally drew a finger of like
just a middle finger.
Somebody, yeah, just a hand flicking him off, and it's basically like her like. Don't give, like, how about you just don't give a lot of ideas to the person who's helping you for free, and he's just like, okay, I won't give you any more ideas.
Which I agree with.
Huh?
Because, like, that's valid. I disagree with her there. Because, yeah, that's valid. She's doing this for free. But also, like, dude, if he's got that fucking logo on stage, he's getting laughed off before he has a chance. Like, if he wants, like, you still got to follow his vision somewhat. But it's like you were saying. He goes, okay, I guess I won't give you notes anymore. I'm so sorry. He guilts her into doing another pass. And I thought that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, bro. It's fucking hilarious, dude.
I think not the important, but like the quote from this part that really stuck out with me was Dave's like, I just don't think this logo is what people are going to want at, a Meek Mill concert or whatever. And she says, when did you start caring about what other people want? And he goes, I don't know, I guess like since now. And well, that's funny. I don't think Dave ever cared what people want, but I feel like he's always cared what they thought,
Yes.
So I felt that was still really in character for him.
It doesn't stray away from like who he really is, for sure, right? Like
no, yeah.
And so now we fast forward to we get past the design part, and like it's him in rehearsal with Gata.
Like an elf.
Yeah, and him and Gata kind of look like, you're like, this could be. I was watching it, I'm like, this could be a thing. Like Gata's like every line, he's on it.
And he's exactly what I would want out of a hype man. I thought he was great. And I thought it was funny because Dicky looks so uncomfortable. And with Gata there, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter, God. With Gata there, it doesn't matter. God, with Gata there, it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna come back to that. This boy knows all. This boy knows all the lingo, but he pronounces all of his words correctly. We're gonna come back to that line. We're gonna come back to that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like this is that point where like you see like actually like for me when I was watching it, Like, I just kind of want to talk about the concept about this because it was just like really like,
Yeah.
this is a point where you see like this could be a thing. Like Dicky's song's not half bad. He's doing it. The song's banging, and Gaeta is the superstar. Like, this is his episode to shine, obviously, but like he's doing his thing, and like I'm kind of vibing with it. And Dicky's the one who calls it kind of like, hey, like let's stop real quick. You know what I mean? And
but he doesn't do that because of Gaeta.
No.
I just feel like it's exactly what any rapper would do, which is my favorite because L's response is just, "Don't you want to be a rapper?" Just a great fucking line, man.
And then I like how Gaeta hits him with like, "Oh, you want to be one of them like undercover rappers? Like you want to be an undercover James Bond? Like when he shits like in the movies and they never show it." And he's like, "There's probably a reason that they never."
I don't think they show that part in any movie. But yeah.
And like,
dude,
this is a really interesting part because like, it goes into the battle of this like episode for me is Dicky's neurosis versus Gaeta's like just high energy, high octane energy.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of Dicky battling with himself. And the elements that he doesn't need to battle with are outside elements. He needs everybody to kind of be their own person because his biggest enemy is himself. And
true. And it's a real good point that for Dave, Lil Dicky needs to be a team, not just a guy.
Yes. He needs a whole squad behind he needs to formulate the brand around him. And the crazy thing that he spends a lot of this episode with is battling like what that is and who that is and how it's best represented. And I mean, and you have a lot of funny, I think in this scene, you have a lot of funny points, right? One of them being like, he's like,
Gaeta wanting a hologram.
I want a hologram, sucking on his own dick. Remember that?
Oh my god, right? So for those of you just sitting there, I wonder what the hell we're talking about. First, Gaeta at this point has way too much energy. Like it's almost like he's got uppers or something, but he's like, "Yo, we gotta do this, we gotta do this." He's talking real fast, real crazy. He goes, "You know what we gotta do? We gotta get a fucking hologram. We can get a hologram in here." And
Mike, goes, "Can we get a hologram?"
And he turns around and goes, "Call up the venue. We're gonna get a hologram." And Mike goes, "Yeah, no, we're not getting a hologram. You can't afford rent, so no.
we're not getting a hologram."
Which I think I actually like that line because like it's a quick, funny line, but I think it's also important to point out that like
Dave's not making money off of this.
Following their dream, exactly.
Yeah, Dave's still not making money. Like you realize, like Mike is probably paying the rent. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. Like you always suspected it, but I feel like this is like okay, definitely.
Yeah, Mike's not calling him out, but saying, "Bro, we need to do what we have with what we can. Like, you know, what we can with what we have. You know what I mean?" And so I mean, like, but I think that like the antidote though of the Dave talking about sucking on his own dick, he's like, "Can we do that on stage?"
Yeah, like that's what he thinks will be like his big draw, like his stage presence and shit. And I love how he turns to Mike and he goes, Can we do that? Like legally, can we do that?"
And Mike's like, you're asking me if we can.
No. First he says, "Is that a real question?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "First off, can you suck your own dick?"
It's like, I used to be able to. I don't.
And Dave's like, "Wait, what?" And Dave's like, "Yeah, but I stopped because eventually it felt more like giving head than getting head."
Yeah, I rather like getting head rather than giving head. Yeah.
And Mike's like, "Were you coming in your own mouth?"
He's like, "No, I would just kind of, right before I finish, I just kind of turn it right into my neck." And he's like, "You were coming on your neck." What are you, a Harlem Globetrotter?
But the important part about this, and this is an important part, what you don't notice, because there's so many funny fucking lines going back and forth, but Gaeta's in the background just doing push-ups.
Oh, yeah.
And that, to me, was the first sign of this is a mental illness. Because I know a decent amount about that stuff, and that's a big sign. Like, if you got so much energy, you literally got to just in the middle of the room start pushing up, doing push-ups, pushing it out, that's a sign. That's a real sign.
I didn't think about it like that. Yeah. I remember watching it and I'm just like, dude, I seriously thought my dude was on some shit. Like, I'm like, my man's fucked up, but like he's getting it in, right? And so it gets to a point, right? So like he's hitting L's and Mike with like, this is Gata at this point who I'm referring to, just like coming at him off, and they're just like, whoa, like calm down, like hey, let's just take it down, like
be yourself, man.
Yeah, and then Gata stops, and he's like, you're right, man, I'm gonna go get some water real quick.
But like you can see, like he's like shit. He goes like he knows that not that he did something wrong, but he knows that like he's doing what he did in the past that got him in trouble.
I think,
the issue that he had on the bus, you can see that it's kind of reliving here.
Yes. And I like though that he catches himself and just like, somebody stopped me. This time when they stopped me, I'm like, cool, man. I'm gonna go take 5. I'm gonna go take 5. Big change. You notice a big change. And
absolutely, very fucking adult.
Yeah, well, just like I think as somebody who like, and again, you don't know what's happening at this point, and I'm not going to give it away yet. But at this point, you know something's going on, but somebody points it out, and he catches himself. He doesn't fight it. He's just like, "You're right. Like, let me go take 5 real quick." And you're like,
"What?" What he said was, "I think he said is that cool, man. I'm gonna go get some water."
I'm gonna get some water. Yeah. And
like it's his face, man. You see it.
Yeah, like it hits him like a fucking brick wall, like a deer in headlights. He got that look, and but like for me, when I watch this, it's like whatever he's doing or whatever, like he realizes it. It's not controlling him. Whatever it is, it's not controlling him right now. So
no, it's not.
We take a flashback.
Then we get to the big part. Yeah, now we're in 2017.
2017, and he's out buying shoes. He's with his mom, and I thought.
My first question: how old do you think he was here?
I don't even know how old he is. I'm going to assume he's Dicky's age, or maybe a few years older.
I thought it was really interesting that he was out, buying shoes, but with his mom. I don't know why, but I was just like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know why that just was like. I think
it's not as interesting. I think it's because like, I think the point of this is to show like, he's like real like. He's real about like his mom, like about his family. Like he was taking his mom out to buy shoes, and he was taking himself out to buy shoes, and he was talking about, let's go eat at this place after here, like Chick-fil-A, and she was like, nah, like whatever, like
yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like they're talking. I think they're trying to have a day, and I think that when you're on the road or when you live that lifestyle, you want to be able to hang out with the people that you love and do the things you can. And I think this is one of those moments showing like, remember the first episode we met him, like he's at home with his mom's, like helping her get her hair did.
Doing a braid.
Yeah. He's
and her did.
Her did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think him and his mom have a very close relationship, but I also think like he was trying to do something nice for her legitimately. And then we have we bump into our next callback, which is the dude from the gas station store.
The liquor store, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, real quick, like, and so, yeah, the dude walks up and he just immediately gets in Gata's face, same shit, you owe me money. But my first thought was, who the fuck, because, like, he's really in Gata's face and he's yelling at him, like, the entire store is staring. And my first thought is, dude, what kind of trash, man, what fucking piece of trash you got to be to do this in front of this guy's mom, you know?
Yeah, I get it, but
interesting because then Gata's mom goes, what does he owe you? I'll pay you. And then the guy goes, oh, no, man, I'll never take money from you. And it's like, so you'll embarrass him in front of his mom and you'll clearly ruin her day, but you're too good to take money from her? That seems really weird to me.
I mean, it's some shit that happens though. Like I could totally see that happening IRL, to be quite honest. Like, cause you don't give a fuck like who's around you.
It's not the world I come from, I guess, you know?
Yeah, no, I get it. I could totally see this shit happening IRL. And there's always a respect level. Like, it ain't about the fucking money, right? Like, it was about the money. If it was about the money,
it's about the respect.
It's about the respect, right? And it doesn't doesn't give a goddamn like who's around, who sees it. I don't give a goddamn. Bring security. Bring the little store manager. I don't give a fuck about them. I see this dude
Right.
apparently, like, whatever the situation was, Gator owes this man money, and this is not the first time probably this dude has asked for his money.
I mean, he wouldn't go off like that if this was the first time, because
Right.
he really goes off.
Yes.
He's yelling. He's like, "What the fuck? I can't believe you're in here buying fucking shoes. You owe me goddamn money." Blah blah. Like, he is heated.
You go take Gator's like, man, you know me, you know I'm with OG Genesis and Wayne. He's like, I'll give a goddamn about none of that.
And I don't know if you heard what he said. None of that fake myth shit.
Yeah, none of that fake. I don't give a goddamn about none of that fake myth shit. Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. And like
at that point, it was clear. Like, so I don't know if like everyone knew that Gator wasn't with them anymore, or if it was just like this guy didn't believe Gator anymore. But he flat out was like, "No, dude, no, you're not with that fucking. No, that's bullshit."
Yeah, that's not you no more. Yeah, that ain't you ain't on that shit no more.
Yeah.
So Gator returns the shoes, and I love how the dude goes. The dude's like, so what?
Yes. I was so hoping you were gonna bring this up.
What's the reason that you're taking the shoes back?
He goes, I just need to enter in a reason for the return.
And the dude's like, he's a bitch ass player.
Nope. He's a bitch ass N word.
Well, I wasn't about to say that. I wasn't about to say that.
His hair combed to the side. Oh no, I agree with you. And this white guy with his hair combed to the side and glasses on just goes, okay.
Yeah, man, that fucking scene is hilarious. But it's also it's funny, but it's also a callback to when you see him in the corner store. You know, him and Mike a few episodes ago. It's a callback to all that, and you kind of get a little bit more context as to why the dude was so mad.
Absolutely.
So
immediately turns.
Fast forward, yeah. So real quick, the dude leaves, and then Gator's like, "Fuck these shit!" Like, he just starts having this breakdown, and like you're not sure if he's.
When I knew, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember watching this, and I'd love to hear your description of this, but I remember watching this. I'm like, he just kind of like. I remember watching this and I was just like, he's just like, fuck these shoes, man. Like, I'm just like, oh, my dude's angry. Like, he got caught. My dude got caught. And so like, you know, he's he starts taking pictures. He's like, I'm going to have all these shoes. I'm going to take care of all the shit. And he just starts getting angrier and angrier. And he's just like, fuck this jacket, like, fuck this shit. He's like, you know, you bought it from me. This shit's fucking cheap.
I don't want this. And you bought me cheap shit. Yep.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this backpack, fuck this $1,300 laptop. Here's what I think about it. Slams a motherfucker.
Smashes it.
Yeah, and so you know what that's a callback to? When he tells Dicky, he's like, I got 6 songs with Wayne. It's on my laptop, but you know how that goes.
Oh yeah. That's a good fucking point.
I immediately thought about that when I saw the laptop. I was like, oh shit,
dude, that's a real good point. But yeah, no, the thing for me here is, literally the second, like when he starts throwing the shoes, I'm like, oh, that's weird. Why is he so mad? But when he pulls his phone out and he starts going out, like saying he's going to be big and no one understands, it's his face that's going to be on all the money. I was like, that's like, he's getting really mad for something so small. But it's when he turned to his mom and he started really going off on her, that's when I could tell that this was I was like, I knew right then this was a mental disorder. I didn't know what kind, but I knew it was. I knew he was having a mental breakdown. Because the thing was, she turns to him and she's like, you just need to calm down. And
he's like, no, fuck all that.
That's what, and he's like, you're against me too? What the hell? Everyone's against me. And it was like, okay, that's the way someone has a mental breakdown is. And then she says,
I just thought he was the
part that feels it.
I thought he was a Sith Lord. If you're not with me, you're against me. I'm just kidding.
Well, and the part that really seals it though is she goes, you're acting crazy. And he hears the word crazy and he flips the fuck out. He goes, crazy? You think I'm... And that's what I was like, absolutely, there's no doubt whatsoever.
My man is
when
crazy.
When people are having a mental breakdown and they hear the word crazy, that's it. That's what sets them off.
Yeah, man. It was, and then fast forward, he gets arrested by security and he is in a hospital.
By the way, that security didn't even... Security literally walks in and takes him down. They don't go, hey, you got to calm down. You got to leave. Nothing. They literally walk in and take him down. And, like, I'm like, that seems excessive to me. And so I was wondering, like, one, is it just because he's, like, flipping out and he's breaking shit, but he's only breaking his shit? And honestly, I did wonder, like, I wonder if if a white guy would have gotten taken down like that, or if they would have been like, "You need to leave, sir," you know?
Right. I mean, whatever way it was handled, like it happened, and we fast forward to him handcuffed in a hospital bed. And
yeah, literally a sentence in the hospital. Did you catch it?
The what?
Did you catch what the first thing the doctor said in the hospital?
They were going to give him some sort of medicines, right? Like they were going to put him
Yes,
on.
but that's not the part that I thought was important. The doctor starts, and he said, like, "Hey, you know, we're going to put you on blah, 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 blah." I don't remember what. But the thing is, the first two words he says are Mr. Ganter. Gator's last name is Ganter. So here's my question. Episode 1, you got to get that Gander. What did you say? So, like, my subtitles put it to Ganter. So I'm wondering maybe the subtitles mixed it up. I'm wondering if when Gator's like, you got to get that Gander, if that's Gator's name, his last name, you know?
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
no, it's like you were saying. The doctor literally said, you know, Mr. Ganter, we're going to put you on this and see how you're doing, you know?
Right. And this was the first. Like,
and Gator strapped to that.
This is when I started, like, it really started to get to me, man. Like, this was the first, like, powerful moment of the episode when I was like, oh no, like, my man had a breakdown. He's on some crazy people meds. I still wasn't sure what was going on, whether it was like anxiety or like schizophrenia or anything like that. But like, I was like, my man's fucked up, and when he starts crying and like, he's just like, "Mama, get me out of here. Mama, get me out of here. I don't understand why they got me all locked up like here like this. Like the white man's telling me I got to take these medicines. He doesn't even fucking know. Like, we need to go."
How about when he was like, "Mama, why aren't you even defending me? How come you didn't say nothing, Mama? How come you just let him strap me up like that?"
Yeah.
And he starts crying.
Dude. And I was just like,
it's a rough scene.
Oh no. Like, yeah, I started feeling it. I was just like, fuck. I hope it doesn't get any more deeper than this. And you laugh, you're like, God damn.
You know what? Like the second time I watched through, because like I said, I'm only watching them through twice. I'll be honest, because of how much I did kind of break my rule a little bit. I think that like, well, what's up? I did kind of break my rule a little bit. I took notes on this episode because this one was just too important to not. But one thing after like the second time I watched through, one thing I really took away from it, God damn, dude, Gator's a good fucking actor.
Oh, he's fucking dude. He needs an Emmy for this episode. First of all, we'll get to this by the end, but like,
yes, but like this right here, him breaking down, that fucking hit me, man.
Yes,
that got me hard.
It pulled the heartstrings, bro.
It was so cool. It was so good. Not cool. It was so good.
So the vulnerability level, like, was shocking.
Dude,
to say the least.
I could not even come close to believing.
To say the least.
So, by the way, because Gator also throws a joke in there.
The burrito?
The doctor's like, "Hey, we're going to put you on this drug." And Gator just goes, "Yeah, that's cool. You think I could get a commissary burrito? I'm hungry as hell, man."
I ain't eaten since I got here. The doctor's like, "Yes, we'll get you a burrito."
Oh, God. Jokes, dude. They're so good.
The one-liners, bro. The one-liners in this are fucking phenomenal.
But so then they cut to a back and forth. Dicky's driving down the road on a call with Gator.
Oh,
and Gator,
I love this scene because, like, the funny part of this scene is you can tell Gator's going to pick up some medicines.
Absolutely. Which my first thought to that, by the way, was, dude, fucking good for you. That's really amazing that, like, because remember, the last time before the flashback we see him, he realizes, like, he's getting a bit like he was on the bus. So the fact that, like, we see him walking in to get a prescription, I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome. This guy's taking care of himself. He recognized in himself that he needs this self-help, and he's going after it. And that part made me really, really happy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And the comical. Of course, Dave is just very concerned about getting the show right, and he's like, what are you doing, man? He's like, I'm over here hollering at these hoes, and Gator's in front of the girl who fills the prescriptions, the fucking doctor.
And the best is Gator leaves the phone away and just whispers to her, or mouths to her, "I'm so sorry." Dude, awesome. So fucking funny. Which he's super duper respectful of this woman the entire time.
Yeah, he's so respectful, man, and all while trying to just be like a normal person, like just trying to maintain some sort of what would the word be, like just normalcy, normal, like just normal function.
I don't want to say normalcy because a whole big thing in the mental health realm is like getting away from normal and abnormal. Maybe a baseline would be a better one.
Yeah, he's trying to just be there, and so Dave's concern obviously is just like making sure the Gator's on point, and like I really need you on this, and I need everything on par, and yada. So you could tell
even things like it can't be like last night, man.
Right. So we have that bit, and I'm trying to see if there's anything that I missed real quick.
Well, so another thing that they point out is, so like one of the reasons Dickie's like, "Hey, are you even there, man? What's going on?" is because when Gator hands her the prescription, she goes, "Okay, and if you ever had this dosage before?" And he goes, "No, I've never had this dosage before, but my doctor said if I ever feel myself really hyping up, I should move up to this dosage." And the thing is like, that's important for a couple of reasons to me. One, like I said, Gator sees that he's getting there and he's taking care of himself.
Yes.
And I think it's really important that Gator's doing that we're seeing Gator doing that. And just like, to be honest, for the adult community in general, mental health and mental issues are a very faux pas, very like hush-hush topic. So like seeing someone actively taking care of themselves is a really good thing to kind of put out there.
For sure.
It's a really, really important message. And the thing that I love the most about it is, and this is the beauty of this show and of Dickie's art in general, they mix a lot of humor in with this message,
Mm-hmm.
This is a really, really funny exchange between Gator and Dickie. But it's literally what Gator's doing there and trying to make himself, feel better. It's literally him going there and trying to work on his mental health, his mental well-being.
Yes.
I thought that was great.
Yeah, it shows like there's a lot of growth that's probably happened with him amongst like all this time, man. And so the next thing that I believe it cuts to is,
we did a commercial break and we're back. We did a commercial break and then we're back to practice.
Are we back to practice? I thought it was before then, and it cuts to.
Nope, trust me, took notes on all of them.
Okay.
So it goes commercial break and it goes to practice, and Gator's sitting on the couch almost asleep.
Yeah. That's right. And
Dickie's talking with Els, They're talking about the beat. Yes. I knew you were gonna love it.
He's like, hey, he's like, so can we just kind of up the 808s? Like, he's like, you remember that one beat you sent me, that other one? And he's like, what? The
one you put on hold, the one you had on hold for me?
And he's like, the hat on hold. He's like, yeah, just play that one. And he's like, and he plays it. He's like, yeah, can we kind of incorporate that? And he's like, I would, but I gave that
I gave this to another rapper.
I gave that to another rapper. And he's like, you gave my beat to another rapper?
And Els goes, yes, I gave he goes, you mean the beat that I gave you 3 months ago?
He's like, yeah, I was working on that.
I gave that to someone else. You've been working on it for 3 months?
It's like sometimes it takes me an entire year to make a song. I don't know.
Oh God, it's so fucking which literally is so Dickie.
It's so Dickie.
Goddamn.
It
also points out Els is still doing a lot of work outside of Dickie, and a lot of like important work. He's working with a lot of artists.
I mean, he does his own business. He has his own business still. And Dickie, I mean, it shows that he's there for Dickie, but also like he's got his own business to run.
Absolutely.
And he still has to look after like what he needs to do is in his best interest. But he's there, but also like he's still got his own shit to handle. And
so speaking of his business, let me ask you a question here.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember when Mike walks back in and he's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "We're having an argument." He goes, "Is the argument over?" And they go, "No." And Mike goes, "Okay, well, this is $45 an hour, so have the argument later." My question to you is, because you would know this part better than I love Andrew Santino, dude. He is so fucking funny and dry with his humor. It's awesome. But so here's my question to you. That looks like a really big room to me. Is $45 an hour, do you think that's average for that room? Or do you think that's Els hooking them up hardcore?
That's a rehearsal room. I don't know if it was that space is not, I don't think, at a studio where Els is at. That's somewhere else. That's a rehearsal space, and $45 for that room. It's a big room, man, but I could see it because like there's rooms maybe about 2/3 that size that go for like $20-$25 at like Music Lab an hour for rehearsal space.
Right.
For
and
rehearsal
this is
space.
LA, so okay, that sounds about right.
I could see $45 an hour for that space. I mean, especially if there's like a homie hookup, right? Like somebody and like, hey, give me homie hookup. All right, I got you. I could do 45. I'm like, oh, okay.
Exactly, and Els has to have connections in the industry, obviously.
Or at least at least other studios for sure, right? At least in that realm.
Yeah, agreed.
And so, is this the part where we cut to Gata working?
Yeah, so they try waking Gata up on the couch, and they just can't. And it cuts. And this flashback is 6 months ago, and Gata's at Game Force,
like a GameStop, basically, for those.
Yeah. But my question is, do you think, because like he's talking to these people about like technical issues and like how to get things working, do you think this is what he meant when he told Mike he worked at Geek Squad?
Yes.
Yeah, so do I. Okay. But also, and here's another important thing to me, we catch Gata's first name, Devante. Don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, no, I did not. Yeah. But yes.
But yeah, so Gata's working there, and like he's telling his lady, he's like, "Oh yeah, you just got to do this, and this. You're all good." And then some dude walks in, and he's got an issue.
Well,
he recognizes Gata.
Here's the thing with that. And it's again, there's all these small moments. It's much like remember the other episode.
A lot in this episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of little tidbits in every episode. So much like remember the episode where he told, I think it was the last episode, right, where he told Els. Like he had hired Mike to be his manager, and like he was explaining that like Mike would argue with our professors and win, and Mike has an argument with Dicky and basically wins. At the end of the day, and there's always like this little, if you let them go, like they usually have a lot of payoff. And here's where I'm going to get at. Dicky, Gata was explaining he sold them what I could see was it looked like an internet modem because it had the bunny ears on it, he was talking about the bandwidth, and he's like, this has dual bandwidth or something like that. This is the same thing that I use and yada. So he obviously is, like in my opinion, technically savvy. Like the kid knows, like
absolutely, he knows what's up.
He knows what's up, which is very interesting. I could hear him explaining like. This is like some dual bandwidth and the same thing I use and yada yada yada. And I was just like, they're not just gonna. They could have just been like, okay, here's your package, here you go, ma'am. Right? They didn't. They had that character explain something about something that's a little technically proficient that not your average Care Bear knows about. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? What I'm getting at?
No, it totally does. It's so like. I mean, he's at the sales counter, but he's clearly like their tech guy. He's explaining how to work this shit. I know it's a real small. I know it's like a one-liner, but it's like I think it adds. If you pay attention to it, it adds to like, oh shit, okay, yeah, he does know what the fuck. And then we get to. Well, I got it in front of me.
Okay.
So come on. All right, there we go. He goes, this is a good choice right here. This dual band makes a big difference. This is the one I got at my crib, so here's your refund, and I hope you have a good day. But yeah, like he flat out tells her like he's fixing shit for her, and he's the guy.
Yes,
you know,
he knows.
And then immediately this other dude walks in. Is this guy we find out his name's Bino. Bino walks in, and Bino's like, hey man, this isn't working. And Gabe's like, oh, I'll get that fixed up for you right away. And then Bino recognizes Gata. And something that was interesting to me here was Bino's like, oh shit, man, what's up? We haven't seen you in a while, and da da da. And Gata's just like, he just explains it so smoothly. He's like, oh shit, man, I just want to be closer to family, my mom and my sister, and I just want to help them out. So, I just had to get off the road for a bit and get back into the flow of things. Yeah. And he takes it all in stride, and he's cool as hell with it, man, until Bino says, oh, cool, that's crazy, man. Some guy said you went crazy, man. Glad to see that's not true. And it's when he says, said you went crazy, man. Gata doesn't get mad or anything, but you just see it, like, in his eyes. Like, it affects him. I don't know if I want to say hurts him, but, like, that's the only time he really lets it show.
I love his liner after that. He's like, oh, cats be lying on me like a Persian rug.
Where does he get these lines?
Bro, they're so fucking great.
Syrup?
They're so fucking great.
Thinking about maple syrup?
Yeah. He was like,
because I'll be on a tree like maple syrup, and he's like,
no, does this? Like Dicky was like, he's like, is that you can do that tomorrow? And he's like, man, does the sap drip on trees? And he's like, I'm not familiar with that one, but okay.
Dude, oh god, it was so fucking funny.
Cats be lying on me like a Persian rug. Bro, I damn. When I heard that, I was like, fucking Gata.
Dude, I was just pausing because I was laughing so fucking hard.
Dog, Gata's one-liners. There's so many of them in this fucking thing, like where he just rhymes.
Oh, yeah.
Where he rhymes one thing after another. He's got like these anagrams.
I got one coming up. Yeah, I got one coming up that I love.
Okay, I want to hear it, but okay. So we
it's not now.
That's a flashback. We see that he's like, "Hey, get me connected.
The important thing in the flashback is that Bino says he's still like talks with Nutty, and he's got Nutty's number and stuff, and I thought it was really cool how like Gabe was just like, oh shit, you got Nutty's number? Yeah, just put that in, Oh, I haven't talked to him a lot. Put it in here, and he has Bino's phone. Like, you can tell Bino doesn't really kind of feel comfortable with it. He's just kind of like, yeah, like he's clearly not buying Gata's story, but he still puts Nutty's number in there, and I think that's important because it shows that, like, Gata is still making things work for him,
I think that he did it because, too, like, Gata's not a bad guy. He's not like out here murdering people and like killing people or like raping people. Like he's not like a violent like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not a person to be not trusted. He's just a person who like might have his own like personal demons. It makes it a little bit hard when like you're trusted with somebody's phone number and like that they know each other and you're hoping, you're like, I mean, what I have to lose, right? Like the dude is not like, he's not going to murder any, like he's not, he's harmless. He's just,
I do have to feel like that trust is different when it is someone like Nutty, who he's got access to all these rappers who people are clearly trying to get shit out of too.
Right.
That's a part of it as well.
Yeah. Nutty's in a position and you also have to, you're the safeguard between them. Right. You're the safeguard between them. You're the buffer between them.
Yep.
And so.
So then, puts the number in. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. It's also because Bino also meant, never mind. But so then, it goes from Bino putting the number in, and then it flashes back to practice when they just woke Gata up.
Right.
And now, Dickie's trying to do the song and dance around and stuff, and Gata is super sluggish.
He's not. Like, it looks like he's not even pulling the mic to his mouth. He's not even rapping. He's not even doing nothing.
He's in Dave's way nonstop. Dude, honestly, it looks like when you got that friend who drank way too much, and it's like, dude, you should have passed out. Stop trying to be awake.
Right. You are bumping into everyone at the party, bro. Hey, just
Like, you're on the edge of alcohol poisoning, just call it night.
sit the fuck down. Yeah, sit the fuck down. And even then, like, he's like, "Hey, man, you like." Dave's like,
heated.
Dave's like, "You're bumping into me, bro. Like, what's going on?" He's like, "Stop."
Can you just not always be in my way?
Yeah, it's like, wait, and he calls practice because, like, fucking Gate is
freaking out,
just not there, and Gate is like, "Yeah, my bad, yo. Can I? I'm gonna lay down real. Can I lay down real quick? Can I take a nap?"
I was like, "Cool." If I sit down, he's like, "What? No, it's not cool. This is practice. You know, we gotta keep doing this and da 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 da." And so, like, while they're doing that, you see Gato revving up. And
well, you see,
so
like, it reminds me of, like, for those that could relate to this part where, you know, Dicky's talking, and, like, it reminds me of that scene in Waterboy when Waterboy starts, you know, like, the first time that he starts Bobby Boucher when Bobby Boucher's about to tackle the dude for the first time, and he hears all the voices, right? Like, it's the coach, and it's like, you too stupid, and, like, he starts hearing, like, all these, it's going back to all these angry memories, right? That's what's happening.
That's insano.
Yeah, we starts going back to all these angry memories, and then it's a collective moment.
All the memories just saw.
Right.
It shows Gator getting kicked off the bus. It shows him getting arrested. It shows, like, the other thing is, you also, while that's happening, you're hearing Dave being like, "What's going on with you? Why are you doing this?" And you hear Mike criticizing him, and you hear all of this, you know? And the thing that it did for me, that it really showed for me, it showed Gator was revving up to have an episode.
Yes.
Like he did back on the bus, or like he did back in the store.
Yes. And then what happens is he's just like, "Dude, I'm fucking bipolar." And you're like,
and
holy fuck.
It literally, everyone is shocked. There is silence. And, dude, do you know what so this wasn't technically completely a throwaway line. This was also like a try to help, but I laughed real hard at the next line. Mike goes, "Data, did a doctor diagnose you?"
Yes.
I laughed so hard at that because that's one of those things where it's like, that's actually a good question. But at the same time, like, when Mike's asking it, Mike's completely sincere.
Yeah, he is, but he's so direct and so dry, and you're just like, you're right, though. Like, it's funny, but, like, you're right. Wait, you're kind of right, though. Like, he's like, yeah, he's like, gave me medicine the full
it's
9.
It's also one of those things where, like, yeah, he is. But, like, the reason I like Mike's line so much is also because that's what you always wonder when someone says things like this. Like, "Man, you know, I got like, dude, I'm depressed." And it's like,
but are you? Yeah, but really?
Like, are you actually depressed, or, you know, are you just having a bad day?
Did you just go to WebMD? Did you just go to WebMD? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. I've got pancreatitis. You've got food poisoning. Like, calm down.
You have heartburn, sir.
Yeah.
Please calm down.
You were saying, Gator was saying.
Yeah, Gator was just like, you know, yeah, like, I got the medicine, the full 9, like, and he just started. What's that?
He says, I take 8 to 10 pills a night, man. It's real.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit. That seems like a lot. I don't know. So, like, I actually texted a friend on that. I got a friend who's a nursing student. And I was like, hey, I just said, hey, would 8 to 10 pills a night be normal for bipolar? And she said, I would need a lot more information to make a real judgment, but as a blanket answer, it would not be abnormal.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Remember what he said too? He's like, some moments I'm crazy, some minutes I'm lazy.
That was it, man. That was my favorite line of this fucking episode, and the best description of bipolar I've ever heard.
Yes, it really is.
Absolutely. Also, I love what Dicky says right after Gator starts, like, explaining, like, I'm on these pills, and and everything. He just sits down and goes, well, it's much harder to stay mad at this point.
Yeah, for real.
But you know what? It's also how someone who doesn't have that issue feels when they hear that, you know?
Or feels when you get mad at somebody that does and you didn't know it. You start to feel like guilty.
Yeah.
You're just like, well, damn, if had I known, bro, like, I'd have fucking
absolutely
made accommodations. Like, I'm just treating you like you're at base level all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I didn't know.
Yes,
And
that's what I mean.
and then Data says, yeah.
Well, I was going to say that's kind of what the spirit of this podcast is too, Unfiltered Bachelor, right? Like the spirit of this episode is about it's a hype man, but it really is cutting to the core. It's not just somebody who's hype and on stage and everything. It's the vulnerability, the core of being vulnerable.
Dude.
Right. That's what this podcast is about. That's what Unfiltered Bachelor is about. Like people coming on here being vulnerable with like relationship stories, dating stories, breakup stories, like stories that have to do with things that are near and dear to their heart, like near and dear to their emotions, near and dear to their mindsets. And I have a special place in my, and I know we're not done talking about this, but just like on this note of like, I have a special place in my heart for this episode in particular because of the vulnerability aspect. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So first off, I wanted to throw out two more quotes from Data that I really love.
Yeah, we're not done with this episode. That's all I'm saying, but I just want to throw that out there.
Before I get because I got something along the lines of what you just said. But first thing is, Data said, makes me feel like a rat in a hole.
Yes.
And that was just crazy because I've never understood that mania, you know, the manic part of that. And it's just so crazy. But then he says, shit's embarrassing, bro. And I think, and I wanted to bring that up because I think it is important to point out there is still such a huge fucking stigma against mental disorders and mental health in this country.
Yes.
Like if you got cancer, it's like, dude, oh my God, I'm so sorry. What can I do to help you out? But if it's like, yo, man, I'm bipolar, it's like, yeah, just get over it. And it's like, that's not fucking right, man. But
yeah.
But like, yeah, dude, and I thought those were really important things.
Like you get special attention because you get, you know what I'm saying, like because you got cancer or because you got like this other disease, but we need that same attention to go to people that have mental illness is a real thing too, not just a body illness. You know what I'm saying? And
dude, I personally I struggle with depression and anxiety on a daily basis, and I don't mean like, you know, I'm feeling blue. Like I've been diagnosed as clinically depressed, and the thing is like. It's a fucking struggle, man. Mm-hmm. And now I'm very lucky. I went to counseling for years. I took pills for years. I did a lot of the stuff that, like, you know, that you need to do, that you got to put that work in. But the thing is, it's a real thing, and it's real hard to describe. Like, man, I first started struggling with this shit when I was about 15, 16 years old. Mm-hmm. And I didn't admit it until I was 19. I didn't start going to talk to people until I was 20. And I didn't start taking anything to try and really help myself with it until I was 21. And dude, it's like, it's scary.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And it's just one of those things where it's like, you just, so this entire episode, like, was so awesome, personally for me, because of just, you know, my experience with everything. And, like, don't get me wrong, I'm very happy that I'm at the place where I'm at now and everything, but, like, I had to put a lot of work in, too. So seeing Data put this work in and come to all this shit, like, and go through all these moments, it was so fucking big and so awesome.
Yes, for sure that. I want to point out something too. One of my favorite moments from the episode was this, where I'm going to get to, where he starts crying, man. He's like, yo, I feel like a rat in a hole. This shit's embarrassing. And he's just like, yo, this dude raps about his small dick all the time. Yes. This dude rub acne on his back all the time. This dude knows all the lingo and pronounces all his words correctly. And I got fucking bipolar.
Dude, I love it. I love that shit. Because you know what? And he's crying.
He is crying as he says this. Crying.
And holy shit. So he starts it like, oh man, it looks like he's holding back tears. But by the end, he is actively crying. And it was like, fuck.
That was the moment.
I love how he described them.
When he was, the descriptions, the one-liner descriptions.
Well, no. The fact that he starts it with, y'all are weirdos like me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's such a good description of him.
And that whole paragraph where he's describing everybody, like, and he was crying, like, I almost That's what really almost broke me, dude. Like I started, I started tearing up. That was the moment. I was just like, "Fuck me, dude!"
Yeah,
like,
man. Oh.
Every time I watch it too, I'm just like, "Fuck, man!" Like
that moment was a lot.
And
that's again, holy shit. Gaeta is an amazing actor.
Yes.
Because, dude, he didn't leave anything out of that. He put so much emotion into that. He put so much heart and soul. I felt like I was there, dude. And everyone's just sitting there and just kind of taking it in. And then I fucking love Mike because Mike just goes, I just think it's cool that we have the first hype man that's clinically depressed. And they all immediately accept him, man.
Right.
It was literally just he had to like explain it to him, and literally Mike says that they all are absolutely there for him and accepting him, and they're all just hugging him, man. And it was such an amazing moment.
Yes.
I fucking loved it, dude.
It was an amazing just scene. Like it was so touching. Yeah. And it's got cut this close to the end now, where we have, Dave's like, well, I know what we need to do, right? Like he's like, fuck all this. Like he's kind of just like, fuck all this shit. Like I know what we need to do. And we see the next.
I've been overthinking everything, and that part I was like, good. I like that they pointed that out.
Yeah, and he really has. And the next scene is we circle back to what Mike was talking about in the third scene, where Mike is just like, we need to just do a video where we rebrand you, where we let people know who you are, what you're doing, yada yada, and that's exactly what they do. Lil Dicky's like, "Hi, I'm Dave. I have a small penis or a small dick, whatever." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It is turtleneck. Dude, do you think they really did this? So, like, I know I asked you earlier, do other people do this? But do you think that Lil Dicky really did this? Do you think his shows start with this?
I don't know. I've never been to one of his shows. I couldn't tell you.
Neither have I. The one that was here in Austin was at the Franklin Center, and I had such a negative experience at the Franklin Center, I won't go back.
The Frank Irwin Center?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Frank Irwin
the
Center.
The one where they play basketball.
Yeah, so Frank Irwin Center. So check this out. So he was supposed to have a show there last year, and he actually canceled the tour. It was supposed to be.
Oh, it's a good thing I didn't end up picking up those tickets.
Or not last year. It was the year before, actually, because I remember talking to a girl back in. I remember talking to a girl back like last May, and she was like, I was trying to go see Lil Dicky, but, he canceled his show last October. And I was just like, oh, I remember him trying to make his way over here. But yeah, then you have, fucking Gaeta kind of, in low key, like he kind of does what Gaeta does and kind of fast talker and like admits that, I got bipolar, but it's not the peak. It's not the point of his, his like little speech, this little paragraph, like but it's kind of in there.
Well, so it's like, Dicky's like, hi, I'm Lil Dicky, I've got a small penis. I'm the rapper here, and Gaeta's like, yo, I'm the hype man, I got this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I got bipolar, I'm gonna do this. and Dicky just goes, wow, I didn't know you were gonna bring up the mental health part, but I'm really glad we were open and honest about it. This is what our show's like.
Right.
What?
And he brings out L's. And then somebody say, like, I don't even know how we got here.
Gaeta said that, and I love that part. And Dicky's like, and we're going to put you a great show tonight. And Gaeta just goes, and I don't even know how we got here. Like, yeah. But there was one line that Gaeta said. Hang on, I got it right here. Because Gaeta's line is so funny.
On that closing bit scene?
Your boy Gaeta, Sunglass Connoisseur, Pizza Lover, I'm bipolar, and I'll take your girl to the solar. What? And he just smiles. He's like, yeah.
Here's my question about this episode. I mean, that's basically the end of the episode. Here's my question about this.
Oh, no. One last thing. Because then there's one more flashback to 6 months ago again.
Oh, right. So it flashes to him walking in the studio, and he's got the phone number for Nutty, and it's Nutty's new number, and he's texting him, "Hey man, this Gaeta, I got your number from Bino. Are you in the studio?"
And he starts trying again, and then he deletes it, and then he starts typing out again,
and all of a sudden,
and he deletes it.
You see Dicky walk in, And you realize this is the scene when Dicky walks in from the very first episode.
Absolutely. But I think one thing that's important here is, so one thing that they pointed out by doing this scene that I never would have realized in the first episode. The first episode, we see it from Dave's perspective. He sits down, he pulls out his laptop. This guy's just sitting over in this other chair, and he's playing on the phone and whatnot. And, so in the first episode, you're kind of along the lines of more like, oh, no, it's just this guy chilling in the waiting room, playing on a song, and this and the other. But no. Now we see it from Gator's perspective. And it's like, no, he's really having trouble thinking of what to type to Nutty. He's kind of like, he's really in his own head here. But I think it's cool because it points out that, so from Dave's perspective, we see this cool guy sitting here just relaxing, playing on his phone, not a care in the world. But then we realize in this episode, no, it was actually a really big, hard moment for him. I think it's kind of cool because it kind of points out, dude, you never really know what someone else is thinking or feeling.
I was just going to say, you never know what somebody else is going through. Unless you're going through it, you never know. You think you have an idea or you see it from a certain perspective, but you never really know.
Absolutely.
Damn, this episode was powerful as fuck, man.
So, some final takeaways. Here's my first thing. Why was Nutty such a dick to Gator in episode 1? Because, we see Nutty kind of kick Gator out of the bus and everything in this episode, and, it looked like Gator was just a bit over the top, and, Pac-Man and OG Genesis made him kick Gator out. But, from that alone, I don't think that called for the animosity that Nutty had towards Gator in episode 1. So I'm thinking a lot more happened.
I'm wondering if something's going to happen after the fact. If we're going to figure out some more history.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not assuming anything yet. That the season's not over. There might be some more we don't know. And I think you're absolutely right. It would be a bit harsh for one character to be I don't fuck with you anymore after this. So there had to have been maybe something. There had to have been something else, because if that's the only thing, I guess. But also come on, man. But also come on, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right. Come on, man.
Come on, hey, come on, man.
Dude, that's probably halfway through the season. 10 episodes.
And every fucking episode is getting better and better.
Dude, best episode yet, hands down.
9.4, 9.5.
I was gonna say 9.3, but 9.4.
Yeah.
There's not a single episode. I know we keep saying every episode gets better, but
what does IMDb have this episode?
Oh, good question. Hang on, I got you. 9.3.
Woo!
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Bro.
So here's my question to you. Do you think in real life Gator has bipolar disorder?
Yes. So, funny story. So I follow him on Instagram and
on the gram,
and he did an Instagram live yesterday after the episode came out, obviously on Wednesday. And dude, so I follow him on Instagram, and I've never seen his. I remember following him at the start of the season. He had 43,000. Right now, he's got 54,000. So his number has bumped up for sure. His story, his story is full of if you follow him on Instagram, even right now, I'm sure his story is full of people
what's his Instagram handle?
Just Gator. GED Gator. GED Gator.
GED.
Yeah, GED Gator, and his Instagram story is full of people who had tagged them on their stories and being like, dude, you deserve a fucking Golden Globe, you deserve a fucking Emmy, this episode's so fucking touching, you get to figure out Gator's story, Gator this, dude, and I'm telling you, there's probably 46, you have to scroll through his thing 46 times to even get to the end. There's so many people that have tagged him and reached out to him, and he included it in his FaceTime or his Instagram stories. So he did Instagram live, and he had maybe 100 people watching yesterday, and one of them did ask if he did suffer from bipolar, and he's like, I do every day, man. Some days I'm up, some days I'm down. I struggle with it. I've struggled with it for a long time, and I just wanted to make people aware of it in this episode, and I was like,
dude, that's so cool to be so open about that.
Wow,
that's really amazing.
Yeah.
Fucking, and by the way, so I mean, I enjoy rap, but I'm not really that. I'm not really into rap. Like, basically, you tell me something to listen to and I listen to it.
Right, facts.
Yeah, facts, not facts. But I gotta feel like in the rap community, this is even more like hush hush than it is in just regular society.
Yeah, like
talking about and having a mental disorder.
Yeah, you don't talk about your shit. To be quite
No.
honest, like, you got to be a tough guy. You got to be this
I mean,
image.
It's flat out brave.
Yes,
brave is the word for it, man.
You got.
And then I loved him. He was my favorite before this episode, and now they actually have a fucking shit. I fucking love Data, man.
It's such a fucking phenomenal episode, and I hope everybody gets a chance to watch it. And like, I mean, we talk about this every week, but like every episode seems to get fucking better and better and fucking better, dude. Like, whatever's happening, like, this is magic.
Oh, totally. Magic's a really good description, bro. You know what I really love about it is, like, Dave finds a way to take these different things that are issues that we all kind of have or see or deal with, and just makes them so accessible. And like now I know that not everyone has bipolar disorder. Like, like that's not the most. How many people have bipolar? You can cut out the me talking to myself in the searches. Bipolar, approximately 2.3 million Americans today, or almost 1% of the population. So it's not a crazy amount. But the part that I like is also is that, like, they showed how people who don't have it react to someone having it. And they showed a real positive way of reacting to that, which I thought was really cool too. So, like, I mean, we get the sex episode, and it's showing, like, the dealing with the insecurities about sex and this, that, and the other. We get the first episode, just, like, dealing about insecurities about yourself. And it's all these different things that, like, we all deal with on such a regular basis, but we just don't talk about.
Right.
And he's just bringing them to the conversation. And that's really all you can ask to do is, like, make it, like, if you can start the conversation, that's how you get somewhere.
You got to be open to it.
I'm blown away with this, man. This entire series.
It's so fucking great, man. It's so fucking great, and it just, every episode has been like, it's just kind of like, there's some sort of powerful topic or powerful theme. Like, just when you think it's just like, oh, it's a silly show about a rapper, it's like, yes, but no. You know what I'm saying? Yes, but no.
You know, that might be important to point out. Like, we talked about a lot of heavy shit this episode. But the thing is, I was laughing the entire fucking episode.
Yes, it's lighthearted enough.
Exactly. And, you know, that was really awesome.
It's an easy way to, like, it's a powerful topic, but it's made to be digestible, if that makes any sense.
It makes absolute sense. And like I said, and I have said a few times, like, there is a stigma around mental disorders and mental health. And so, like, making it something that, like, not only digestible, but, dude, we were laughing at it, yes. You know? Not laughing at it like, haha, look at that crazy guy, but laughing with him.
Yeah.
That's the best way you can really deal with it. And I was so happy with it.
I was blown away by this episode, man. I'm so happy that it got the review. Like, if this isn't the episode that gets it helps him get a second season, I don't know what the fuck will.
Oh my God, dude. And this is also one where, man, this is the episode that's going to hook a bunch of people.
Like, if there wasn't a lot of people writing about people having to watch this show before this is the one that should fucking do it.
I think this is going to be the one where, like, not the mainstream media, but, like, the mainstream entertainment media is really going to start taking notice, you know?
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of, why aren't more people talking about Dave on FXX, you know?
And then all of a sudden everybody's going to be like, you watching Dave? And I'm like, bro, I got a show.
And you're like, bitch, I talk to Gata.
Bitch, Gata knows me by name, please. Okay, so,
dude,
Just wash my car, peasant, or something, you know.
So I got one last thing I want to say, but before that, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
When you did that shout out to Gata.
When Gata did a shout out to me.
Well, but you had to push a notification to him, right?
Yeah.
That was before this episode or anything, right?
That was after this. This was last night.
Well, it was, but like, did you mention anything about this episode in that push?
No.
Bro, I know we want to push to Dicky now. I will give you money to push this to Gata, because if you could just push, I would really love it if Gata could hear this episode and just know like how much we respect him.
Of course.
And how much we thank him for this episode. You know?
Yes. You're absolutely right, man. I'm gonna send this to him. I'll reach out to him. And yeah, I you know, man, I think it takes a lot to just be vulnerable about anything, whether it's hey, I made an accident, you know, I got into an accident, whether it's I spilled some milk, or I got into a car wreck, or, you know, like I made a silly mistake. Like, it takes a lot to just admit a mistake. It takes even a lot more to, I think, be vulnerable in the aspect of there's something going on and I don't know if I can control it. And it's against my own will, and I didn't do anything to set this in motion, and I feel bad when this happens. And I don't know who I can tell. I don't know outside of myself who I can trust. I don't want to tell people. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to feel shame. But I also it's in me. Like, there's this thing that I didn't tell it to be inside of me. You know what I mean? And that's what a mental illness is. And I think it's what emotions, and I think that's what a mental illness is. And for somebody like Gata to step in front of this, and again, I just take this back to, this is the spirit of Unfiltered Bachelor. My whole point of the show was to be as vulnerable with your emotions as one man in the 21st century can be. And that's exactly what this is. This might not have anything to do with a relationship or anything, but that's far beyond the point, right? Like, the point of this is being vulnerable as a man in the 21st century. And Gata is the embodiment of that now on live TV in front of millions and millions of people, like it's a bigger reach of what my podcast does, but like still like it is vulnerable in front of a huge audience. And I think to face that fear, and to face it just head on, and I say, hey man, I'm not afraid of it. I've been living with this. I'm not afraid of it no more. And I'm going to actually do something about it. And I'm going to be lighthearted with it. I'm going to address it, but I'm going to do it my way. And I think you couldn't have done it at a better time. Probably this is a point in Gata where in Gata's life where he feels comfortable with doing it. Otherwise it wouldn't have happened. Right. I think, this is, we're living in a point in you know, this 2020 where people need to hear, I don't think mental illness is a stigma that's ever going to go away. And so there's never a wrong time to hear a message like this, I guess is what I'm saying. And I think it's beautiful anytime you get somebody in that realm of rap, or just even an actor, or even just anybody touching on the subject in the way that it did, and it being as touching as possible. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree with you more. For me, it reminded me a lot of when Chance the Rapper's brother came out as bisexual, and Chance was openly so supportive of him, which just isn't that heard of in the rap community, unfortunately. Now, I don't think there's as much of a stigma on that anymore as there used to be, but like still coming out and just being like, I don't give a shit. I fucking love my brother, and I don't care that he's bi. Like, I thought that was real big a chance, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think this is really big a Gata. And I think that, like, a big part of this episode also points out, excuse me, Excuse me, sorry about that. I had to burp. Like I said, like, this one meant a lot for me because, like I said, like I deal with, I have depression and anxiety, and they're always going to be a part of me. And I think I'm lucky because, like, I feel like those are the two most accepted mental disorders or stigmas or whatever the fuck you want to call them, just because so many people have them. So, like, for me, it's just like, whatever, you know, yeah, whatever, I can be depressed or this, that, and the other, and it's not that big of a deal for me. But something like bipolar disorder, I think it's a really bad rap. And I think there's a couple of important things that are brought up in this episode. One, I think it's so important to bring up that anyone can have a mental disorder. Because when you see Gata before this, he's just a normal guy, you know, just hanging out with everyone, having fun. He's like kind of, I would say, unique, and like he's himself. But like before this episode, I would have had no clue he had a mental disorder from what they've shown.
Right.
And I think that like this brings out like, yeah, mental disorders can happen to anyone. They come in all shapes and sizes. There's no real like standard for one. But I think the most important part to me is Gata's a real testament that, like, while you're going to have a hard time and you'll need constant help and care, most people with a mental disorder, they can still function and highly function in society. They just need a little help and self-management. And I think that's a really important part. And I think that Gata is a really good example of that. Gata is not like me, where, I mean, I get along and I can do my thing and like I'm just kind of going through like an average American. No. Gata's at a higher level than me. Gata's touring with Lil Dicky. Gata's an actor now. I'd say he's a rapper on his own. And he's dealing with mental disorder. Like, I think that this is just so amazing to point out that, one, I think that the part that you brought up about being vulnerable is so important because, as we've talked about, man, we as men in the 21st century, we as men in 2020 are taught that, you know, it's not okay to be vulnerable, you know? We're taught that you got to be a man, like, well, no, it's getting better now.
But before it was like a man's a man's a man's a man, and that's the way it's got to be, in the words of that 70s show.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And while it's getting better, like, it is getting better. I do believe that. But, like, this was really amazing. I just can't get over how powerful this episode was.
Yeah, and to kind of touch on your idea before you separate, I'm going to just add a tangent to it, like a quick, like one or two liner. I had my buddy Envy on. He's a director, former rapper. He's a music video director and stuff like that. And he came on maybe like last year around this time, and he was talking about like, man, sometimes he's like, I'm a man, and you know, you're taught to be you know, rough, and you're taught to be like hide your emotions in. But he's like, sometimes I just want to be a human. I just want to be heard, man. Like, I just want to feel something. Yeah. And I think that's kind of touches on what exactly the fuck you're trying to say. Like, I just want to feel something. And just because you're a man doesn't mean you cannot feel something. That's all I'm going to add to that. I just want to add to
No, that's perfect, because it actually reminds me, like, I got in an argument with this friend of mine, Mika, who she was going through a bad breakup, and she was like, it's all society's fault because, you know, society teaches men that they got to be this and they got to be that and da-da-da. And, you know, she's like, because society teaches men that they got to just, like, go around and spread their seed and fuck whatever, da-da-da, and this, that, and the other. And I was like, no, actually, that's not true. I do feel it used to be true. I think that we're getting better. And, like, she just cut me off in one stop, and that really pissed me off. But, like, you know, I mean, this is a bit off topic, but scientists have actually done a study and shown that we think that the whole idea is like to spread the seed and, you know, extend your bloodline, this and the other. But scientists have actually shown that monogamy is better for humans and more successful for humans evolutionarily, because whereas, like, say, we'll take a lion. A lion will just, you know, have cubs with any lioness, and just, you know, whatever cub lives. But like humans, as a weaker infant, being monogamous and having just like the one family unit actually promotes chances of survival, because then there are two people there who are constantly trying to protect and raise this thing. And I feel like that's a point that's coming out more and more, like the whole like, no, you know, like we can be families, we can be like I love where masculinity is going, because we are being taught we can be more open, we can be more honest with who we are. And man, like, dude, like you said, you almost cried in this episode. I almost cried in this episode. It's not necessarily masculine. I love to cry. Dude, I love putting on Shawshank Redemption, having a glass of scotch, and having a real good cry.
Oh, Andy Dufresne.
And when I first met Andy Dufresne, oh, God damn. But, like, it's cathartic. It feels good, you know? And to bring it back in, Gaeta opening up about something so personal and important, I think it reinforces that, you know what, you can be a man and you can still be a human.
That's lovely.
Like your buddy said.
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
Hey,
I'm not going to say anything
I took
after
it
that.
from
That's
your
perfect.
friend, man.
That's beautiful.
I'm not going to claim that I'm the smart one.
That's
I'm
perfect.
just real good at plagiarizing.
Leave it to the white man to steal from the Mexican. I'm just kidding. I'm making this
Well,
about
it's okay. I'm white, so they're not going to throw me out of school.
On that lighthearted note,
So
this was
next
another
episode,
great episode.
talent show.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we got no titles after talent show, but next one's called talent show, which I don't even know what to think about that one.
Let's predict. Let's make our 1 or 2 liner prediction. I think Dicky does some sort of show.
I think it's Allie's school has a talent show.
And they want Dicky to
And
perform?
yeah, I think that's
So
gonna be part of it.
I was thinking it's Dicky performing in front of people. And like it's just kind of a
Yeah.
metaphor for like not like at Allie's school. Like some of these are just really direct. So you could absolutely be right. Some of these are just really on the nose. That's exactly what it is. And then some of these are, I think, more or less like metaphors for like what it could be. So talent show for me,
Right.
This is Dave doing something with his talent. He'll probably have a show, and it'll probably be like some
I
rap
do
club
need
or
to correct
something.
myself. It's talent shows with an S at the end.
Oh, okay. Some mini shows.
So that changes things.
Okay.
So let me ask you questions in regards to predictions.
Okay.
Ooh, before I do that, one quick thing. This was the show where we had the least amount of Allie. She was just in the Made in Tokyo show.
Right.
Yeah, even Emma we had more of. Anyway, so question I ask every week. I don't think it's going to change much because of this episode. Do you think Allie's Molly?
Don't know yet.
Don't know. All right.
Not enough evidence.
Do you think next episode is going to be working on moving Dave away from Somebody Suck Me?
I mean,
The idea of talent shows makes me think that that's kind of the idea of it, you know?
it seems like that's his leading single that he's going with.
No, you're thinking My Dick Sucks.
Oh,
I'm asking, do you think next episode's going to try and get away from the,
I think that's what they've been doing.
pyro-
I think they've been doing that since this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I got. I mean, like, you can ask random questions like, how do you think Mike's going to keep doing as manager? But I actually think Mike's doing a good job.
Yeah, Mike's doing phenomenal, man. He's doing what he needs to get Dicky to the next, take him to that next
By the way,
level,
we talked
Holmes.
a lot about how great Gato was in this episode. But how great was Andrew Santino in this episode?
Oh my God, dude!
He played his character perfectly.
Santino. I mean, last episode was his episode, but Mike, fucking Mike. Every episode, it
Dude,
never
he's
ceases to
hitting his
amaze me.
character.
Never ceases to amaze me.
No. I'm wondering if they're going to do. Okay, so here's a question: do you think we're going to get a big L's episode?
I expect that.
He's the only one of the
has to
group that we haven't
happen.
gotten yet.
Has to happen.
Yeah?
Next, maybe even the next episode. Right? Because
What if?
first episode is Dicky. Second episode is
Like the friend group.
Kind of all the friends. Third episode is obviously Allie, Allie, right? Allie Molly.
I know. Yeah, getting in your head.
And then fourth episode is
That's
Mike. This episode is Gator. And next episode,
So
if I had to place money on it, I would say next 2 episodes, but I'm going to take the bigger risk and say next episode has to include some L's, like some big parts of L's.
With the name being talent shows, and we know L's is his oldest friend from back in Philly, right? What if talent shows refers to a talent show from when they were kids that they did together and a talent show that they're doing now?
Ooh, I'd love.
Or some show they're doing now.
That'd be
tight.
That'd be great. That would be great.
That'd be real interesting.
That would be a real good kind of metaphor. It would tie in everything.
Yeah.
It would make it so we're both not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need. The only other question I have is, because I don't know if this one's going to happen, do you think we're going to get an Emma-centric episode? I don't think so.
Not at this point. Not that I can tell. Not that I can. She does what she needs to do.
Season 2. Exactly. She moves the story along, and she's an important character. And I do think she's really hot. That's not it. Well, no, that's her.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap for this one. Jeff, thank you for coming on. And
sorry I had so much this week. This is just such an episode.
No, this episode was a lot to unpack, bro. Like I'll be quite honest with you, man. Like there was no shortcut of what to say about this episode. Like it could go longer, it could go shorter, but I think it went to the proper amount that it needed to, and it was just a lot to unpack, and I think we did a great job of it, man. So real quick, man, if you want to shout out yourself or anything you're on or whatever, man, you want to shout out some positive vibes for people going through the Rona, bro. Go ahead and do it.
So first off, if you want to contact me on Skype, Don Cheadle's driveway at LilDicky2.com. Yeah.
No, this is real. This is real. This is legit real.
You guys who don't know, when Blake and I were last night, we were talking about how we couldn't meet in person. We were going to do it over Skype. I actually changed my name in Skype to Don Cheadle's driveway at LilDicky2.com, and I've never been more proud in my life. But no, yeah, one, if you're going through some shit, some sort of mental stuff, first off, just talk to the people close to you. They'll understand. They'll be accepting. 2, there are plenty of numbers and support lines you can call. And if you're worried because, we do have this quarantine going on, all of those are still open during this time. 2, coronavirus. Yes, it's scary. I get it. But if you remain calm, if you act like a rational person, you'll be fine. That means don't hoard TP and groceries and stop going outside. Like, seriously, I understand a lot of people in our age group are like, well, we're not at risk. One, we are at risk. We can get coronavirus. And 20% of people our age who get it do have to go to a fucking ICU and be put on a ventilator. One person in Austin today had to be put into a coma because of it. It's still dangerous. 2, even if it's not dangerous for us, you're literally putting everyone else at risk. And lastly, hey, you want to go out and enjoy the world? We all do. If we all stay inside, we can do it sooner. Other than that, guys, watch Date. I mean, it's great. I look forward to it every Thursdays. I'm so excited for Thursdays because that's when Hulu has them. And I mean, I haven't been disappointed yet. Every episode's better than the last. This is clearly my favorite, but man, it's good shit. Oh, also listen to Unfiltered Bachelor. I hear that also.
Everybody go follow Unfiltered Bachelor on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, your favorite podcast app, everywhere podcasts are. That's where we are. You can also follow the show Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can follow me, Money Blakeweather, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. This has been so much fun. Everybody go tune in today, whether you have FFX, if you have actual cable, tune into it every Wednesday night, or you can tune into the replay every Thursday on Hulu. It's up by the afternoon time. I think I watched it at around like lunchtime, like around like 12 yesterday. So it's up by at least lunchtime.
At 2 a.m.
Oh.
2 a.m. Thursday morning.
Okay, well, everybody go watch it 2 a.m. Thursday morning. Follow the show in the meantime. If you're new to the show, this is your first time tuning in, go check out the rest of the episodes. We do the Dave segment, break down each episode. You could follow the rest of the segments we do on here, the Unfiltered Bachelor, where we talk to people about their everyday dating life and relationships. And if you're an MMA fan, we've got a few episodes of that too. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to this episode and taking some time during this crazy pandemic going on in the world. And I'm so happy that me and Jeff could provide a little entertainment. And thank you for letting us into your worlds, into this crazy time.
Thank you guys. And hey, thank you, Blake, because this is honestly a really fun time for me too, brother.
I love you to death, Jeff. And I love everybody out there. I hope y'all stay safe, stay healthy, at least healthy enough to tune into another week where we do this all over again.
If you're in a hospital on a ventilator, just have the nurse put this on next to you. It's good.
Hey, you want to come out of a
I'm
coma?
Sure we'll give a fuck about all the goddamn F-bombs.
You want to come out of a coma? Because this is how you come out of a coma. You listen to Unfiltered Bachelor. It's been medically proven. It's science. But
Blake and Jeff are not members of the CDC, nor are they doctors. Please do not regard their medical advice as actual medical advice.
On that note, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Have a good afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time you're listening to this. Thank you so much. And until the next time, we will see you. Peace.